Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm called Morinzi. We begin with our top stories. The population of Douala is at the crossroad following the death of a young woman at the Bepanda neighborhood in Douala. Roseanne Fosso is reported to have been beaten to death by her concubine over a piece of land. And workers of the National Printing Press have gone on strike over the non-payment of their salaries, with half salaries given them since December. They said still no other payments has been made. And truck drivers will circulate in Douala again at working hours. This was concluded during a meeting between the Douala City Mayor and truck drivers together with the Senior Divisional Officer for Wuri. And pedagogues in the basic education sector are bent on addressing problems that continue to affect the smooth functioning of schools and learning of children, meeting in the national workshop for the coordination of activities of the actions of the pedagogic supervision chain of the Ministry of Basic Education. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. The population of Douala is at the crossroad following the death of a young woman at the Bepanda neighborhood in Cameroon's economic city, Douala. Roseanne Fosso is reported to have been beaten to death by her concubine over a piece of land. More with Stephanie Chin.
Last night's beating was not the first. It was the last straw that broke the camel's back. After enduring 8 years of abuse, Roseanne Fosso, 37-year-old businesswoman in Bepanda Douala 5, succumbed to death after being tortured by her lover. Their former landlord drove him away because of repeated violence against his lover. According to eyewitnesses, while Roseanne fought between life and death, the alleged murderer sought the help of a nurse in the neighborhood, but the nurse refused to inject his dying lover. Ajak Joe, assisted by some neighbors, dropped to Roseanne here near Rue des Heures. In an attempt to escape the population's fury, Ajak Joe lied the lady was electrocuted. When we arrived, she was still breathing. We carried her on our back. Then later, I decided to rush and look for a taxi, but by the time I got back, I discovered she was already dead. Roseanne has been declared dead in the Deido hospital with a probability of electrocution, but a close relative who does not want to be identified says the murder case stems out of a conflict between the deceased and her lover over a piece of land. The family explains there was a problem evolving around a piece of land. She was being tortured. There are some neighbors who say they are aware of it. Roseanne Fosso, a mother of 4 children, beaten and pushed into her early grave. Her lover is presently under police custody. This murder case has again proven how violence against the woman is on rampage.
And workers of the National Printing Press have gone on a strike over the non-payment of their salaries, with half salaries given them since the month of December up to date. No other payments has been made. Disgruntled workers stormed the Prime Minister's office this Wednesday to make their grievances heard. We'll certainly come back to that in our subsequent editions of Newscast. Meantime, truck drivers will circulate in the town of Douala again at working hours. This was concluded during a meeting between the city mayor and truck drivers together with the Senior Divisional Officer for Wuri. This comes after agitations of truck drivers following a banning of heavy duty trucks during working hours. More in the following story with our reporter Sherifa Saleh. Following numerous accidents recorded in the city of Douala as a result of heavy vehicle circulation during working hours in the nation's economic capital, the Douala City Mayor, Roger Mbassa-Diné, together with the Senior Divisional Officer, Benjamin Boutou, organized a contact tour this April 20th between the trade unionists of heavy-duty trucks, investors in the sector and transporters. We are coming out from here with a location plan of truck parking lots and a perspective look on how to lay out the city and create space for these trucks while waiting for access to be put in place. During this workshop, the chief superintendent in charge of law enforcement in the littoral region explained how 5,319 cases of accidents could be recorded in a year, with more than 200 deaths recorded due to wrong parking of heavy-duty trucks. In the year 2021, the Senior Divisional Officer for Littoral had issued an order banning the circulation of heavy-duty trucks in Douala from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., which developed agitations in the ranks of truck drivers.
They can circulate with the responsibility that we have, that we cannot have any time the defects in the human life. It is better that we can circulate, but you can preserve this life, this human life.
According to the Senior Divisional Officer, heavy-duty trucks have important role to play in the nation's economy. As he says, solutions shall be scripted out in order for these heavy-duty trucks to circulate respecting rules and regulations that shall be given to them to avoid any form of material or human damage. And a gang of 3 supposed fraudsters that have squeezed out more than over 200 million franc CFA from economic operators or businessmen in both material and cash have been apprehended by the judicial police in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. The presumed gang members were presented to the press this Wednesday alongside tons of items caught with them during the time of the arrest. More with our reporter, Hisencha.
2 brothers and a friend, the presumed scammers that have dealt with a handful of Cameroonians, dubiously collecting household equipments like sofas, refrigerators, chairs, beds, giant TV screens, office furniture, electronic machines, and foodstuffs worth over 270 million CFA francs and disappearing into thin air. The smart guys operated under a non-governmental organization, which in reality exists only on paper and in their phones.
They fabricated false document of a ghost association called Brief Empowerment Foundation operating in Garwa, with the aim of promoting youth empowerment, assist orphan and IDPs.
Before the numerous economic operators could open their eyes, there was no shadow of any of the dealers in their earlier presented Garwa office.
After delivering the machine and drop the bill, the guy disappeared with the machine. After that, we considered that we was too many provider the products to that ONG. They escaped from the town to travel to Yaoundé.
Faced with the situation, the victims immediately alerted the judicial police, who without delay launched an intensive search for the culprits, leading to their arrest at the Lebudi, Damas and Mimboma neighborhoods in Yaoundé, thanks to the collaboration of the population. Presenting the gang to the press this day in their headquarters, the Judicial Police Department warns.
We should be vigilant when we come across people for business purposes. In case of any doubt, let us report to the nearest police unit.
And these are the 3 vehicles they hired for their numerous operations.
And dozens of business extensions at the Tudi market in Yaoundé have been brought on by agents of the Yaoundé City Council. The atmosphere this Wednesday morning was very tense as traders decried the action, which comes at a time when life is increasingly difficult. More with our reporter, Udmo Kusumi.
Total uproar at the Tudi market this Wednesday morning. Traders rushing helter-skelter like their extension buildings surrendering under the heavy weight of the council machine. Veranda extensions, small and large iron attachment kiosks and others brought down by the demolition engine of the Yaoundé City Council with the security guys in the company of police officers.
Moi, je vais aller. Voilà mon capital qui reste, comme je vous dis là. Voilà ça. Si je vais continuer à parler, c'est les larmes qui vont couler. Pardon.
Lucky ones were able to collect some of their goods to safer areas. The general cry of the traders is that they received no early warning, though the operation head, that is the third deputy mayor of the Yaoundé City Council, Palalou Minjawa, said they knew.
Quand il y a un cas comme ça là, on peut venir quand même nous avertir qu'on ramasse nos choses.
They did not inform us, so we are surprised to see that they are here struggling to destroy everything that we have gathered for some years. So it's not good.
The operation, according to council officials, is to clean up around Carrefour A2D, clear off all not parts of the market's plan, and make the area safe and void of its numerous attacks and aggressions. The disappointed traders termed the move unwanted, especially now when life is not only demanding but difficult.
People are really managing, and then the prices of goods in the market are getting higher. They are increasing the prices every day, so they should start from that end. If they keep on doing this thing, so many things will go wrong. I am not happy with the situation. If they want the country to be a good country, they should start from where the problem is coming from.
Some of the traders can be seen struggling to gather the rest of their planks, zincs and others. This, as the fast guys are also there to grab what they can for themselves, as the dealers in iron rods helping themselves also for fast business later. Circulation along that line dense also.
That was what I report by Beatrice Ngamu. Now, corporate lawyers have identified themselves as the health, and safety sectors as those with more corporate legal liabilities. At the season 2 of the legal clinic in Douala today, the lawyers emphasized on the importance of corporate lawyers to company and their role to reduce legal actions towards the company. More with our reporter, Gladys Ambo Tiba.
Employers have the right to identify work activities that could cause injury or illness to their employees and take actions to eliminate the hazards. This falls within the employer's health and safety duties, a breach of which he risks legal actions.
When the employer doesn't comply with those obligations, most of the time the employer is facing criminal liability. He might be sent to jail either by or through representatives, directors and whatsoever. There might be fines, there might be imprisoned term.
Fines of some of these misdemeanors or simple offences range from 100,000 CFA francs to 1 million francs CFA. As part of its obligation and right, the employer is expected to provide adequate work material adapted to the job of the employee, provide potable drinking water, ensure the availability of restrooms, edify workers of the internal policies, respect dismissal procedures, pay salaries and annual leave allowances of employees, and avoid the recruitment of minors below 14 without prior notice to the Labour Inspectorate. To ensure the company's compliance with the law, the role of the corporate lawyer is therefore imperative, since they have not just extensive knowledge of the law, but also of the business and finance. Corporate lawyers face a lot of challenges as their role is sometimes undermined. They are marginalized, whereas they have the legal knowledge and are in position to identify and explain to the company heads the risks the enterprise might face. For 2 days, These corporate lawyers meeting in Douala are exchanging ideas and seeking solutions to the different challenges they face in the exercise of their duties. The workshop on the theme Employers' Liabilities and Telework in Cameroon is taking place within the framework of Season 2 of the Legal Clinic, organized by the Commission of Legal Affairs, Litigation and Regulation of the Cameroon's Employers' Council, GICAM, and the Cameroon Association of Corporate Lawyers.
And officials of CamWater have held talks with heads of consumer associations with the objective of improving quality service to consumers. The aim of the meeting is to seek ways of improving water supply to the Cameroonian population. The meeting comes at a time when the cholera epidemic is ravaging the population. More with our reporter, Regina Leketandak.
Water is life, and for Cameroon's Water Utility Corporation, CamWater, ameliorating the quality of service to its consumers is key. Reason why CamWater has held talks with heads of consumer associations.
La plateforme pour les associations de consommateurs.
The platform for consumers made some revendications whose solutions have been provided by CamWater. The corporation has given clear response to issues raised and has also explained some of the difficulties they face. We will continue to work hand in hand.
Nous allons continuer de travailler main dans la main.
CamWater's current production capacity stands at 839,420 cubic meter per day, with a storage capacity of 272,482 cubic meters and a distribution chain of 7,412,659 kilometers. However, with an ever-increasing demand for the precious liquid, CamWater is expanding.
In Southwest, where I'm the regional delegate, we have Motengene, Tico and Boya water project that the president has already signed. Any moment from now, we're going to start with that project. Not only in Southwest, I know in other areas which are not too vast, they are also doing the same thing. So the production centers we're trying to expand.
The meeting this April 19 in Douala seeks to bridge the gap between the consumer and the producer.
There had been a gap, and for so many years, this gap has been existing. And with the existence of this gap, it creates some sort of a kind of a confusion between the two parties. Water is a basic necessity. It should not only be the concern of the management of water corporation. It should be the concern of all those who are consuming water. Since water is life, it is called a basic product. And what is happening is that from this meeting, we have been able to come out with some resolutions on how we can be able to better come together in order to handle and manage the issue of water in a more sustainable way.
Following the cholera outbreak, with the Southwest being the epicenter, CamWater took measures to provide water to deprived communities.
In Southwest, just of recent, we had a problem with the cholera issue. And you see, CamWater as it is, when I wrote to my Director General, he had to send camions to those areas that are not served by CamWater.
Amongst ongoing projects of the corporation is the rehabilitation of drinking water supply in Betua, Edea and Gaundere. Water supply and sanitation project for the towns of Akono, Ngomu, Ebolova, Bafia, Sangmalima and Kusuri, to name this.
And that report brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. Coming up next is the brief with Lil Peugeot. So we'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.